Hello everyone. I'm coming to you a little bit different today than what I normally do. And that's simply because I'm not afraid to hide behind who I am. I used to preach and pass the Word of God along, just like every other preacher out there. I believe wholeheartedly in everything that I've taught till I couldn't be removed. I stood and I argued the Word of God, the Bible, the way it is, Christianity. And questions kept coming to me left and right that I could not answer. And my biggest response is, you just gotta have faith. You don't need to question. It seems like the more that I said, you don't need to question, I need to question. See, I can't settle for just what somebody tells me. Somebody says something to me, and I'm going to find out. I'm going to research it and dig down deep and find out. And I can't just let it sit. I have to do something about it. And that's what I've been doing with my life. I've been looking and trying to find the truth. And lots of questions that's posed to me are factual questions that cannot be answered by facts. Much as I hate to think that the Bible is a lie, some of the questions that come to me, I can't answer. Not until a few years ago. You see, as a young child, I sat down on my knees and I thought about all the things that people could pray to God for. And I thought about King Solomon. His prayer was the best. Wisdom. So as a child, I prayed for wisdom. I had speech impediment that made me look like I did have all my faculties. I was small, scrawny, run at the drop of a hat, confront somebody? No, that wasn't me. But I didn't realize it. But that prayer that I prayed to God, God gave me. But He didn't give it to me in wisdom. He gave me a curiosity. I hate to be wrong, just like anybody else does. And for me to be wrong about God was just not fair. That I believe in God above all things. First commandment, thou shalt not have no other God before me. I am a jealous God. Therefore I will be your only God. And it made me think, well, what is a God? What is the different gods? What are the different things that we can worship? And I come up with many answers. Did you know that to worship Jesus and His death is considered Jesus a God? But then I asked myself a question. If Jesus is God and God came down here, then God came into sin, therefore God had sinned. That couldn't have been. But God could send His Son here on earth to live on earth in the show by letting God lead you and do for you You have nothing to worry about. God will provide in all things that you say and do. And I know this to be true. That's something about the Bible that I know to be true. But if that's true about the Bible, then how can the other things be wrong? So I started looking at the pieces of the Bible. How did it come together? Why is it the Word of God? Why is it like that? And in my searching, I found out that a long time ago, right after the crucifixion of God, that between France, Rome, England, Russia, and all of them put together, they decided to use just certain parts of the prophecies and the stories to make a Bible. This is what you're supposed to believe, this way it is. Read this way it is. And that's what's happened. We've been designed, not by God, but by men to believe a certain way. We've been designed to live in society the way that we are, not by God, but by men. They decide how we should be called and to be called Christians. Didn't matter if you were Catholicism, didn't matter if you was a Presbyterian, it didn't matter if you were a Baptist, it didn't matter. They held to certain beliefs. One is that Jesus is the only begotten Son of God. That Jesus came and his blood was a sacrifice for our salvation. That Jesus rose from the dead and is in heaven now with God. You know, these simple little principles that all Christianity goes by. And I couldn't find any fault in that. So I started realizing that even in the early Jewish days, they did not have sacrifices of lambs. Because not everybody could sacrifice lambs. It's like the merchants that was in the temple that Jesus came and got so upset because people were bringing these animals in to give as sacrifice. So there were many different animals that people sacrificed. Sometimes they didn't have animals, and they sacrificed what they had. Then I started thinking, it's not the animals. It's not the vegetables or fruits or whatever you gave. That's not the sacrifice. Sacrifice is the word itself. To give up the best part of yourself to the belief that there are things that are better and greater than you are. Or to hold back and give to others, and you do the suffering for what you have given. It's the idea of sacrifice. It's not the items that you sacrifice. When you put it to the items, then you worship the items. I'll give you an example. You go into church each and every Sunday, and it doesn't matter which church you go to. And they open the service up with hymns and songs, getting you feeling good. Then they say a prayer, and then they bring around the offering plate. What have you got to offer to show your sacrifice? And so you take and you put your coins in. Yes, this is what you have to sacrifice. But those coins are the same thing as the sheep as a dove, as all other sacrifices. They're just things. Lots of people tend to know this, and so they try to reach out into the community to do more. But see, it's not about what you can do for others like that, because then you're doing things for show. You're not doing it because that's the way it is. Sacrifice? God never wanted sacrifice. God never asked for sacrifice. There's only one that asks for a sacrifice in blood or in anything at all. First law in the Bible. You have to sacrifice something in order to show your love for God. No. That is the first lie. I'll be back to show you more in just a few moments.